Well, John, welcome to Essex Cricket. You only started on Monday, but how's the first week gone?
Brilliant, I've really enjoyed it. It's been fun to get to know everyone, see a few familiar faces, but to introduce myself to the staff as well. That's been really good. It's been an intense week of information gathering, talking to all members of staff and really getting to grips with how the business is run, really. But it's been a very, just really exciting week to be back.
Spent a lot of your playing career with Essex, had a brief tenure with Hampshire before you realised and came back to Essex. But from there, once your career ended, you joined the MCC. Just explain to us the role you had there, because it was a lengthy career there, wasn't it?
Yeah, 17 years. I had various different roles. I started as head of cricket, which was running the touring programme, the MCC Young Cricketers, overseeing the pitches and facilities, the indoor cricket centre, and the laws of cricket. Then it developed into a more of a hybrid role of running cricket and the estate, ground redevelopment, media, so there's quite a broad remit there. And then more recently running the community programme, running real tennis and squash and cricket, all the other things, the university programme. And then the last thing I did was as general manager of London Spirit men's and women's teams. So over 17 years I covered a bit of ground, but yeah, it's great fun, great place to work, and as you say, quite a long tenure.
Cricket is very fast evolving, isn't it, off the field. Those jobs that you did with the MCC, stand you in great stead for what's happening now in the game and the future of the game. What attracted you to come back to Essex as chief executive?
Well, first and foremost, I'm an Essex boy, and coming back to the county that I started at all those years ago when I was a kid, playing Essex under 16, all the age group cricket, Essex under 19, and coming through the system. To be offered the opportunity to come back as chief executive at this stage in my career, I couldn't turn it down. So absolutely thrilled to be back here. It's a dream come true, really. When I think back to when I was a kid, coming to watch Essex play, to be sitting here now, it's unbelievable, really.
Yes, born in Stebbing, went to Felsted School, and just Essex through and through, aren't you?
Yeah.
It must be, when you walk through the gates and think, chief executive, that is something, a dream, a childhood dream almost, or perhaps something you don't really think about at a younger age, is it? Just playing cricket for the county you love, and then England, yeah, which you also did.
Well, exactly. As a kid, all you want to do is play cricket and play for Essex and see where it takes you. To have gone through this journey in cricket over so many years and then end up here, it couldn't be better, really. It's a circle of life. But the most important thing really is to start concentrating on what's good for the club, to drive it forward in the present landscape with all the challenges that are ahead of us.
You say about the challenges, and no more so than COVID, and the fact that the game has addressed very well, really, the problems presented with COVID. Obviously, we're still restricted, but it has badly affected financially anyway, hasn't it? The clubs and countries. What is the immediate criteria to try and address that over the next 2 or 3 years, John, from a financial point of view?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'd like to say how well the club has managed it under John Farragher as executive chairman. They've navigated their way through this crisis brilliantly, and the club is in good shape. The club is run so well. We're in good financial shape with no debt, bit of money in the bank, and with a successful team on the pitch. So my role really is to ensure that the club is sustainable both on and off the pitch. There are a lot of challenges that we're going to face in the changing landscape of the game, but Essex has been run really well historically. I want to continue that forward. But what I want to do is make sure that Essex remains strong, even with the challenges that are going to come and the way the game is changing. And the strength of the club really is that the homegrown players, we have an incredible development system. And if you look in the handbook, every player on the staff is born in Essex, apart from actually Alistair Cook, who's born in Gloucester, but he's an Essex boy through and through. and obviously Tendo and Simon Harmer. But the rest of the lads are homebred, and that's something I'd love to carry forward.
And that's important, isn't it? Because it goes back to your days when you had, obviously as we do now, a strong connection with Felsted School, but yourself and Knight, Derek Pringle, just to mention a couple. People often talk about team spirit, but there is a genuine team spirit in that, isn't it? If they're all local lads, actually putting on the shirt does actually mean something to them, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's so authentic, as you say, and it's always been like that since I've been associated with the club. 40 years ago when I started having nets down in the indoor cricket centre as a 15-year-old, and I used to mix with the big boys, being brought from Felsted School to come and net with my heroes. And the Essex team, more or less since then, has remained Essex through and through. And the other strength of the current squad is that they're all from club cricket virtually. There aren't that many from private schools, and I think that's a real strength as well. And that really is testament to what our cricket operations department do, our cricket age group coaches do, and how we develop players and bring them through. And that's something that really brings the culture of the club to the fore, the great culture that we have, and long may that continue.
Indeed. I guess there's quite a few things in your in trade, but one thing that's probably near the top, or certainly for discussion, will be the ground development.
Yeah.
You referred earlier to the fact that the club is in a healthy financial position insofar there are no debts. And I think one thing that John Farragher made sure was that we didn't spend money that we hadn't really got on the ground, and how wise that move has proven to be. But it is a topic that will need to be addressed. Have you got any immediate thoughts that you can share with us on that, John, as far as
definitely. As far as I'm concerned, we need to review all the options on ground redevelopment, because everyone knows that the ground needs to be updated to meet the minimum standards that ECB require to stage first-class cricket, women's international cricket. And recently we have invested in the ground with the floodlights and the toilets and certain facilities, and ECB have helped us on that journey. However, there's no doubt that the ground needs attention. The ground is more or less the same as when I was playing here 30 years ago, 25 years ago. We're going to start to review that. We had a good meeting yesterday with some architects to look at some basic plans, some options for the ground. Some are there just to fill the gaps that we need to fill at the moment, and then there's some more ambitious plans. So we'll set up a group to review all those options, but it's certainly something that I'm going to focus on. It's very much top of the agenda.
One thing I guess perhaps you won't have had too much dealings with in the past from your previous jobs is players' contracts.
Yeah.
There are, at the end of the season, there were a number of players' contracts up for renewal. Can you shed any light, maybe not specifically, but ongoing and positive developments on certain areas there?
Yes, we're in good shape. You probably saw Dan Lawrence signed a 2-year. Tom Westley and Simon Harmer they've got another year on their contract to go. All the other players have signed. Nick Brown signed the other day, a 2-year contract. The staff, I think, is done and dusted. And if you look at the makeup of our team and the squad, we've got a great mixture of talent and age groups and senior players. So I fully expect them to perform really well over the next few years.
Well, that's great news. I'm sure everybody watching this will be absolutely delighted with that. You mentioned earlier the academy, and most of those players that you mentioned there have come through the academy like yourself. It is a particular strength, and it must be the envy of counties around the circuit, and you would have come across that with your various roles at the MCC. What is so special about Essex? Because you look at some counties, probably best nameless, they buy in players, but there's so much talent on our own doorstep, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. I think that the region is key to this. It's a vast region. We tap into the East London region, and if you think of the region from East London all the way to the East Anglia, we can tap into the whole area. And we've got the right scouts in the right place with Fletch and John Charles, people who can really spot talent. And then under all that, we've got our development coaches under Dan Feast, who just know the community so well and tap into our club system. There's so many clubs, and the diversity of our population as well. I mean, in East Anglia, there's 25% of the population. So there's so much potential there, and such enthusiasm around the clubs in the region. But we've got great systems in place. We've got 36 teams, I think, we put out with men's and women's around the county. And the indoor cricket centre, which used to be run as a commercial venture, is now so full of our performance squads that it's very difficult to get anyone else in. And that's testament to the amount of work that our coaches are doing.
Yeah.
And this all filters through under Dan Feast, who does a great job. It's the sort of encyclopedic knowledge of the region. And it's the sort of honour of wearing the Essex badge, isn't it?
Yeah.
One team, one dream.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to keep going.
And I suppose with youngsters who want to play cricket professionally, there are the opportunities, or they've got to have the talent, but when they see the progression of the Alistair Cooks, Tom Westleys and Dan Lawrence into the England setup as the latest players they've made up, you know, you said earlier about living the dream of playing cricket. It's there for them, isn't it? If they're good enough, they will get the opportunity at Essex, not only at Essex, but to go on to international status, knowing that the club are grooming them in the right way.
Definitely. They can, as you say, they can see that progression from age group cricket, club cricket. If they do well, they get recognised, and then they'll get given the opportunity to play in our under 16, under 19 teams, do well in the second team, and then they'll be playing out there. Yeah. So, and if they do well out there, they go even further. It's a great story. Yeah,
it is. And I guess that's again part of the academy's job, isn't it? That with all the coaches working under Anthony McGrath, that they will tell him when they believe a player is right and ready for first team action, because I think you look through a number of players that do come into county sides who unfortunately then fall by the wayside. That isn't true with Essex, is it? That when they actually make that first team level, more often than not, they're there to stay, aren't they?
They'll have at least the class and talent to perform. You know, everyone takes a bit of time to find their feet. But under Mags, who's done a great job, he'll know as well. He's got a good eye for talent and knows who are going to succeed, both not just with the talent side, but with the mental capacity to cope at that level. And Fletch as well, you know, he can spot it from a mile off.
Yes.
So, you know, we're in good hands there, and we need to keep those scouts, Fletch and Charlie, involved, because there's no substitute for knowledge. And you know, when you see a player, you know if they're good enough. Yeah. And then you can find out if they can cope with it on the field. Yeah. So we've got the right people in the right place.
We've won 6 trophies in the last 6 seasons, most of them red ball, although I don't think there was too much pride in winning Division 2 last year. There was a pretty mooted celebrations, but we still won it anyway, so it was there to win. Only one white ball trophy though in the 2020. What are your immediate ambitions for the club over the next 3 or 4 years, John?
Well, everyone tells me not to overpromise. You know, but if you look at our team, that's definitely a team that should be winning red ball trophies. The formula is there. Everyone's at the right stage of their career. So I think their ambition next year realistically is to win the county championship. Right? So that's something that I'll be talking to Mags about, and I think that will be their goal anyway. I probably won't even have to say that. As far as white ball cricket is concerned, I've had a chat with Mags and Tom Westley about how we can look to improve that. I mean, we won the T20 Blast in 2019, which is an amazing achievement. But I don't think anyone is under any illusions that we need to work on our white ball cricket. We'll be looking to focus on that and make sure that we are at least in the hunt for a trophy. And we've got the talent to do it. And Mags is aware that's something I'll be focusing on. I think the club really wants some white ball success, more white ball success, and that's something that I'll be expecting.
Whilst it'd be nice to have ambitions, and of course every county wants to win every game, no, Mags goes out there to win every game that we play in front of him. The reality is, for a county the size of Essex, financially I'm talking about, very difficult, isn't it, to try and be successful across all formats. And some of the test match grounds, for example, the counties that play there, we almost build 2 separate squads, a white ball and a red ball. At the moment for Essex, that just isn't feasible, is it?
Well, it's not, because we have to live within our means, and to produce a fantastic red ball team and a white ball team is tough in the current environment. However, you can see improvements in the way we're playing white ball cricket. Look how Sam Cook's bowling at the death, and what a brilliant one-day bowler he is now. I fully expect our white ball cricket to improve over the next few years, and that's something we're going to focus on.
Finally, I think, John, what has been great is to be seeing the crowds back at cricket. I think it must be nothing more dispiriting for a player to playing in front of empty crowds. It was a necessary, obviously, occupation that they had to do. But to get the crowds back has been wonderful. Towards the end of the season, the membership were back in pretty much full flow, and that's important for a club like ours, isn't it, to keep that membership attractive to come to watch us play. It
is. The membership have been incredibly loyal over the period of the pandemic. It must have been so frustrating for them and the players. How they've kept the morale up and interest it's just been remarkable. To see the crowd back this year, and the great crowds we had during the 50 over competition, was just great to see. And then hopefully we can go back to complete normality next year. I'm very lucky to be coming into this position when hopefully the COVID situation is done and dusted. So we can really concentrate on what we all want to do, which is watch cricket, watch Essex achieve more success, give the members what they want. And I'm really looking forward to meeting them all.
Yeah, and I'm sure the membership packages will be going out very shortly for 2022, won't they?
Yeah.
There'll be some encouraging words from them, and hopefully, we'll be getting back to the levels that we had probably in the days when you were playing, because it was quite high then, wasn't it? I think at one time there was almost a waiting list for membership. That would be a lovely dilemma for you to have, wouldn't it?
That'd be a lovely problem to have. Yeah, but yeah, it'd be great to get the membership more involved and get the membership up, and that all happens with success on the pitch and playing good cricket, and I'm really confident the lads will do that.